It's like a lot of people have just been passing away, like just friends from violence or just illnesses or whatever out of my family. But I just I just deal with it in different ways. I don't really talk about it that much. Just listen to my music and stuff and just think about the times when I knew them and stuff like that.
Now that I was a single parent, I had no time to look up services. Was there anything I was thinking is, how do I provide for these children now that I'm alone? So I had to do what I had to do. I went to work and back home, and then I had to deal with the grief. So I tried a support group. I went to the support group, and it was I was the only black person there, and in that group, I was a young widow who have lost a spouse, and the other members have lost their parents, or they were older, or they had their husband for 30 something years and they've lost them. And I said, I know grief is grief, but I figure here I am, two young children, you know, I'm the only black person. Say, am I the only black person who have lost a spouse here? So it was really difficult in that group. But when it comes to social services, I didn't really get any. I had to do it all on my own. I found out later from a friend about subsidized daycare. Had no idea about it. But just going there and had to fill out all those forms, it makes you felt like some kind of fraud, all those questions that was asked. And I thought, why do I have to go through all of this? So when coming to support, I think the support that I got was mostly from my family.
For the first 5 years, I really did not have any support. I dealt with my grief as a black woman from the community, from the islands, which is from Trinidad and Tobago. When you lost a loved one back home, it's always like the person is 85 or 90 years old. So you thought, well, it's okay because they must have grown gracefully or they were sick or something. But when losing a child in Canada, I thought I was able to deal with it the same way from my culture. Mm-hmm. However, after 5 years, I realized I was still struggling with my grief, and I wasn't getting any better from after 5 years. And it's at that time I was introduced to the group of bereaved family, that they was the ones that helped me with my grief. I was able to get a space in their organization that I can really tell my story and the loss and how it affected me. And that's when I really realized I started to grieve. That was when I started to grieve. All before, I thought I was getting over it, but I wasn't.
Prior to the death of my parents, I had a great family life. Mother, father, grandmother. So if I wasn't able to get something from mom or dad, I knew Granny would provide it. I had that great support system. I never felt alone. I never felt like I didn't have someone to go and talk to, because we didn't have the money or the social networks to really find out what services were available to us. We had to seek out services that were free, and so I did. My grandmother didn't because she was too busy working, and my brother didn't because he just didn't agree to doing those type of things. So I did, but what I found was when I went to a group, I was in a group of kids my age who had lost, their parents. And what I found with the group was that I was the only black child there. And I was the only one who had such a traumatic loss, in the sense that the rest of the kids in the group either had one parent still alive, or both parents alive, but one was sick, and so they were anticipating their death. And so I felt very isolated because they still had the privilege of having one of their parents, and their life wasn't impacted in the same way that my life was impacted.
There's youth and child care workers out there that are there for support that they put in schools or whatever, but some youths these days are dropping out of school and they're just working or whatever, right? So some of these dudes aren't really like educated about what's out there, who they can go talk to. Yeah, there's phone lines and helplines and stuff, but some people don't feel like picking up a phone and calling someone and telling someone they don't know what they're feeling, really, you know? People that are going through grief probably like to talk to someone that they know and like they can trust.
I went to bereaved families a year after my father had died, and it was really sort of tentative, and I really didn't trust this whole group process stuff. I'd done the one-on-one with somebody and it felt okay, but I thought, I'm not sure that I'll be able to go in and do this. I'm going to be the only black person in there, and I had a lot of different, concerns. But when I went in, there was another black person in the group, and listening to the different stories of other people's losses, I began to realize that there was connections, right, around that.
They created a space where you can feel comfortable and secure. And then on top of that, there was other people that I could interact with similar to my loss. And that made me feel really, really comfortable that I can talk. And it was okay to tell my story and to talk over and over, and someone is always there to listen and to help me. And even if I'm having a bad day and I call the office, somebody will talk to me and make sure that I was feeling a little better by the time they get off the phone with me.